It's no secret that over the last 15 years, Fromsoftware has created some of the best games of all time. And in this video we are going to be ranking them, so sit back, relax, grab some popcorn if you want, and enjoy as I rank the Fromsoftware games. I also just want to say we're only going to be doing Fromsoftware's games over the last 15 years and not their previous titles before that. For number 7 we head to Boletaria, and while I do love Demon Souls, it is sadly at the very end of my list. And while Demon Souls is by no means a bad game, it is in my opinion the least enjoyable out of the 7 we are going to be talking about today. Demon Souls was the first game that Fromsoftware made to take on the formula that we know and love today, and while there was other games before Demon Souls was the one that truly started this series. Well, spiritual series. No, they're not actually connected, at least to our knowledge. Something that is masterful inside of Demon Souls would be the lore. The story is always a strong point of Fromsoftware's games, and Demon Souls is no exception. You are a warrior, guided to Boletaria for whatever reason, and now, after crossing your way to Boletaria, you're enslaved to the Nexus. A truly interesting story, and it was captivating to the very end. For 6th place, we head to Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 2, since its launch, has been very controversial. Many people have many different opinions, whether that be bad or good. Some people love the game, some people hate it. I'm more in the middle if I'm being honest. Some parts I really like, some parts I'm not the biggest fan of. Like every one of Fromsoftware's titles over the last 15 years, the story in Dark Souls 2 is very good. You play as the bearer of the curse. In my opinion, Dark Souls 2's story is one of the stronger in the series, but sadly a few of its other details hold it back from becoming what it could be. Something that I really liked, but it was quite basic, would be the dual wielding system. This was eventually returned in Elden Ring, but its origins lie heavily in Dark Souls 2. Something I also really liked was the hexes. I did a whole hexes build for my first playthrough and I absolutely loved it. The variety was just chef's kiss, really. For number 5 we head to Bloodborne, to the world of Dark Souls 1. I love Dark Souls 1. The lore is amazing, the gameplay is amazing, but sadly, even though this game is phenomenal, it ranks 5th and not any higher. There are a few problems with this game, the second half being one of them. It was very unfinished, as was stated by the developers, but the first half is some of the most interconnected and wonderful level design, in my opinion, ever created. Dark Souls was remastered in 2018, and before that, a few years prior, Dark Souls was ported to the PC, although that version, well, let's just not talk about that PC port. You play as the chosen undead, locked away in the undead asylum until you are freed by Oscar Vestora. This story and this intro, and plus the asylum demon, is so iconic and so amazing. As I'm sure you've probably heard, I love Dark Souls 1. But even though I love it, the last 4 entries on this list are so good that Dark Souls 1 can't even hold a candle to them, in my opinion of course. For number 4 we head to Ashina, a country that is coated in the blood of its folk. Set in Sengoku, Japan, in the Warring States period, Sekiro was released in 2019 and is one of Fromsoftware's greatest titles. Sekiro took some really big steps for Fromsoftware's formula, making you focus more on perfect parrying and parrying. Sekiro also added posture bars and death blow points. This game was very different and unique to what I was used to, but after a time, after I'd got used to it, after it clicked, I grew to love this game, and it has since become one of my favourite games of all time. Not just for the gameplay, but for the lore too. I mean, bloody hell, it is just absolutely epic. Although Sekiro is very different to its predecessors, it still does remain some of the core elements, and if you haven't played it, I cannot recommend more playing it, because it is truly one of the best games I've ever played. I'm not giving you a choice. If you have the opportunity to play this game, play it, please. For number 3, we head to Lothric, the land where the Lords of Cinder converge. I used to have mixed feelings about Dark Souls 3, and if this list was done about a year ago, then there would have been a lot different things than what I am about to say. About 10 months ago, I decided to start an SL1 on Dark Souls 3, and this changed my perspective on the game. I experienced Dark Souls 3 unlike I had ever done, and it was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made, and transcended Dark Souls 3 to one of my favourite games of all time. Dark Souls 3 also has an amazing story connected to Dark Souls 1 and 2. You are the Ashen One, a being unworthy even to be Cinder. You are the reinforcement of the reinforcements, a nobody and piece of shit, lying helplessly on the pavement while everyone just watches you and walks by in disgust. Also, can we please talk about the soundtrack? I mean, Jesus Christ! Ripgrin, plim plom, always in my heart. For number 2, we head to the lands between, to Elden Ring, released in 2022. This game is my second favourite in the Fromsoftware catalogue. Although Fromsoftware's games are all good, this one and number 1 are my all-time favourites, and, well, my all-time favourites in gaming in general, not just the Fromsoftware series. You are the Tarnished who ventures across the fog to the lands between. The lore in this game is top-notch. If you've seen any of my other videos, then you'll know I love the lore in this game, and we've made plenty of videos on it. The gameplay is amazing, the music is bloody amazing, as I'm sure you've seen already. The build variety, the stats, the weapons, absolutely everything is top notch in the game. Obviously there are flaws, like everything in life, but it is very close to being a masterpiece. We did make a video on it yesterday, on it being a masterpiece or if it not being a masterpiece, so if you want to see a more in-depth discussion of that, definitely recommend going to check it out. Overall, it is a truly amazing game, and I truly recommend playing it if you have not had the pleasure to do so yet. For number 1, we head to a city addicted and drowning in the blood of the great ones, and to my favourite game of all time. Bloodborne, in my opinion, is a masterpiece, and nobody can tell me otherwise. This game was truly amazing from the start to the very finish. The music is top notch, the bosses are top notch, the level design is top notch, everything is top notch. A good example of amazing level design would be Canehurst, one of the best levels Fromsoftware has ever designed. What makes Yharnam so special in my opinion is the fact that you see the world fall. In most games, it's post-apocalyptic. In Bloodborne though, you are there as it falls. Not for all of it, but about halfway through the fall, you are there. And you are out on the streets as the city falls to madness and blood. It is truly a terrifying yet beautiful sight, and it truly encapsulates that incomprehensibility that is so important to the developers of Bloodborne. Bloodborne was inspired by H.P. Lovecraft, who was an author from the 1920s, who made the cosmic horror genre. And like Master Willem says, our eyes are yet to open and to fear the old blood. Bloodborne's DLC is notoriously one of the best. There are so many good points to the DLC, whether that be level design or iconic bosses like Lady Maria of the Astral Clock Tower, or Ludwig the Accursed and Ludwig the Holy Blade. Truly amazing bosses, and they truly add so much more to the DLC that is already so great. Sadly everyone, that brings us to the end of the video. If you did enjoy, please consider leaving a like and subscribe, as it truly helps the channel. And without further ado, hopefully I'll see you in the next one, and may you all find your worth in the waking world, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!